So, whenever I'm talking with a lot of clients or even just friends, really, a few of them will mention, just, and I've done the same thing. These woes that we express about our spouses, our partners. Like my favorite is when a dad specifically mentions to me how they have to get back home or else there's going to be like hell to pay because they left their partner with the kids, and they know that whenever they get back home they're probably going to have to do something to reconcile the absence because the kids can be high strung and very demanding, and there's this reality that I think a lot of parents, particularly dads, face. And they just make up these these stories about their partner, and they use the past experiences, like she's yelled at me before for not helping enough, or I've been told that I'm lazy, or something that I'm not helpful or whatever. And so they pull from the past, they pull from past experiences to justify what they're saying, that they need to get back in time, or they need to hurry up, or whatever. There are lazy fathers, of course. There's lazy everybody's. There's lazy moms too. The thing that I want to get at is when it comes to the assumptions that we make about our partner, what else could I invite another question of what else is true? What else is possible? Because here's the thing. If you and your partner were in agreement, would you have to use your partner as a pawn to justify your actions? Because that's what's happening. You're just using your partner. You're kind of punishing them, and also lessening your agency by blaming them for you needing to do what you need to do. Now, I'm not saying to not live into your word. If you said that you promised to be back at a certain time, then live into the word. That's great. It's absolutely helpful and necessary even. But a lot of guys aren't having that conversation. I know they're not having that conversation. They're usually having no conversation. They're usually saying to their spouse, hey, I'm going to meet up with so-and-so, or I'm going to go play golf, I'm going to go to the office, I'm going to do this, and that's the end of the conversation. When really there's a whole, and that's where the assumptions then lead to, and the judgments towards their partner come from, is that lack of clarity. And so I always just push back whenever I hear them saying like, oh, I need to get back, or, and I need to relieve them of their duties as a parent, and you can just feel this like condemnation, this stress building up because of their absence. And I just want to kind of go like, you love this, don't you? Like, you love using your partner as a pawn. You love this stress in your life because it works for you. And they're the bad guy and you're the cool guy. Like, when really you're the coward. You're the lazy. You're the one that's not taking initiative to get clarity and make requests and set boundaries and getting clear and living into your promise and really letting both you enjoy being away and then looking forward to getting back home. Because really you're robbing yourself when you're not getting clear of what the expectations are. So if there was a possibility of expectations being clear, what would you want to know? Like, if there was something else, if you didn't just tell yourself like, oh, I need to get back home real quick, and because they're going to be mad at me, well, that's a judgment. And I'd like to draw this illustration where, if this circle represented all the things that were possible, all the things that were possible or true, I had to ask my clients, like, how much would you say from your perspective in your life? How much of all this knowledge on these possibilities do you know for certainty? And they'll just draw a little dot, and it's true. So you're telling me that your spouse, there's the only possible response is that you have to get home quickly, or there's going to be hell to pay. Is that really the world that you want to live in? Whenever there's all these other possibilities, if you set boundaries, if you got clear, if you made requests, if you lived into your word, if you honored your spouse and even made clear with the people that you were meeting with that that this is what you're committed to, and this is why you are doing what you're doing. Instead of just blaming your partner, would you be able to honor your partner? Would you be able to honor your children? Would you be able to honor your word and live into it because you are considering what else is possible and wanting that for yourself and wanting that for your children, wanting that for your partner, and in the process thriving, not just surviving. It's something that to really consider. That's what I do in these calls with couples is I invite them to what else is possible. And if that's something that you're into, if you're curious about, like, let's connect, let's talk about where are we not being open to possibilities? Where are we so bent on one way of focus that we miss out on so much more? Because when we look out and what else is possible and what else is available, man, connection happens. People live into their promise takes place. You honoring your spouse when your spouse isn't around takes place, and people are listening to how you talk about your spouse, and I always find it to be encouraging to hear partners speak highly of their spouse when they're not in the same room, because it's evident that they have a very healthy perspective and beautiful care for their spouse, because their spouse isn't around to receive it, but the world knows it, and it holds that there's a deep level of care.